Think about how often the world shouts at you, "This is the next big thing, don't miss out." It could be a new coin on the crypto exchange, a hot IPO everyone's buzzing about, a social media platform that claims it will replace everything before it, or even a career path that suddenly feels like the only way to get rich. The pressure to jump in is enormous. Friends talk about it, headlines amplify it, and your own fear of missing out makes you restless. But here's the paradox. The people who actually end up rich, who manage to build wealth that not only grows but stays intact across decades, almost never get caught chasing what's fashionable. They don't sprint after every shiny ball. Instead, they sit still. They study patterns. They wait for value to reveal itself. It's not that they never adapt or never invest in new things, they do. But they move with conviction, not impulse. They don't let noise steer the wheel. Welcome to the long game. I'm Nathan, and today we're unpacking why the rich don't chase trends. Let me paint a picture. Imagine a street market. One stall suddenly has a crowd, everyone shouting, rushing, buying whatever's there because someone whispered it was rare, valuable, the thing to have. People elbow each other, some even paying double the price just to get in. But if you wait until the frenzy fades, you often discover that the goods weren't that rare. The price wasn't that justified, and most of the buyers walk away with regret. Meanwhile, another stall, quiet, almost overlooked, offers something solid, basic, steady, useful every single day. Few people pay attention, but that stall quietly earns steady profits for years. That's the difference between chasing trends and building wealth. Trends are like fireworks, bright, loud, impressive, but gone in seconds. Wealth is like the foundation of a house, boring to watch being built, but once it's there, it holds everything together for decades. If you look at Warren Buffett, one of the most studied investors in history, you'll see this philosophy in action. During the dot-com boom of the late 1990s, when the world was rushing to buy internet stocks at insane prices, Buffett sat back and did nothing. People mocked him, said he was old-fashioned, said he missed the future. But when the bubble burst, billions of dollars vanished overnight, and Buffett's refusal to chase trends looked like wisdom. Years later, when he finally invested in technology companies like Apple, he did it not because they were hot, but because their fundamentals aligned with his principles. He moved after deep study, after conviction, not hype. And here's the deeper truth. Chasing trends often feeds emotion, not reason. It makes you reactive, always running behind the crowd. But wealth building requires the opposite: discipline, patience, and independent thinking. It's about asking, does this align with my circle of competence? Do I understand this well enough to hold it for decades? Or am I simply running because others are running? Think about fashion. Clothing trends come and go every season. One year skinny jeans, next year baggy jeans. If you try to follow every trend, you'll empty your wallet and still end up behind. But if you invest in timeless pieces, well-tailored, high-quality, versatile, you save money, look good year after year, and never feel outdated. Wealth works the same way. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Not chasing trends requires courage. It means watching your peers boast about quick wins while you stay silent, steady, almost boring. It means resisting the urge to look like a genius in the short run so you can actually be one in the long run. It means embracing boredom when others are intoxicated by excitement. This is the mindset the rich cultivate. They know wealth is not a sprint to catch the next wave. It's a marathon of surviving and compounding. Trends may offer thrills, but compounding offers freedom. And freedom, not hype, is the real prize. So as we dive deeper into today's episode, I want you to carry this image with you. The difference between fireworks and foundations. One dazzles, the other endures. And the rich, almost without exception, choose the latter. This is the long game, and I'm Nathan. Stay with me because in the next part, we'll break down the psychology behind trend chasing, why it's so tempting, and why resisting it is the hidden skill that separates those who stay wealthy from those who only look wealthy for a season.
Why do people chase trends in the first place? It's not because they lack intelligence. It's because human psychology is wired for survival in groups. When we see others moving in a direction, our instinct tells us, follow them. It must be safe. If a whole tribe runs toward a river, we assume there's water. If everyone points to the sky, we assume danger is coming. This instinct kept our ancestors alive, but in markets, careers, and wealth building, it can lead us into traps. This instinct has a name: herd mentality. It's the feeling that if everyone else is doing something, it must be right. That's why bubbles form. That's why fads rise and fall so violently. And that's why those who resist the herd often look strange at first, but wise in hindsight. Let's take the example of tulip mania in the 1600s. Tulips, simple flowers, became a fever. People sold land, houses, even borrowed money just to buy bulbs. At the peak, a single tulip could be traded for the price of an entire house. Everyone thought they were making history. But within months, the market collapsed and fortunes vanished. Those who didn't chase the tulips, they kept their wealth, while the trendsetters were left with nothing but broken dreams. The same psychology repeats in every era. In the 1920s, the stock market bubble inflated by cheap credit made ordinary people believe stocks could only go up. Then came Black Tuesday in 1929. Decades later, the housing bubble in 2008 told a similar story. People believed house prices would rise forever, and even banks played along. But when the tide turned, the illusion broke. The ones who had resisted the herd, who asked harder questions, survived and often came out stronger. So why do the rich avoid chasing? Because they've seen this movie before. They know the ending. They've either lived through a bubble themselves or studied enough history to recognize the pattern. And that memory, that scar tissue, keeps them patient when others are frantic. But resisting the herd is not easy. It means standing alone. It means explaining to friends why you're not investing in the hot idea they're bragging about. It means enduring the look of pity or even mockery, as if you're the one missing out. And that social pressure is enormous. After all, we don't just want money. We want validation. We want to feel smart, admired, ahead of the curve. Trends promise that feeling, even if for a moment. Now here's the tricky part. Trends are not always wrong. Sometimes they do point to real innovations. The internet was not a fad. Electric cars are not a fad. Artificial intelligence is not a fad. But here's the key difference. Chasing the hype is different from understanding the value. When you chase, you're reacting. When you understand, you're anticipating. The rich don't dismiss new opportunities. They study them deeply. They invest only when they see a durable edge, not just excitement. Think about Jeff Bezos in the early days of Amazon. Everyone saw the internet boom, but most investors chased quick wins in dot-com startups that had no real business model. Bezos, on the other hand, bet on the long-term shift of commerce moving online. It wasn't trendy to sell books on the internet. It was boring compared to flashy dot-com ideas, but it was solid, fundamental, and scalable. That patience built a trillion-dollar company, while most dot-coms burned out. So how do the rich train themselves to resist the chase? First, they anchor themselves in principles. They ask, does this align with long-term trends in human behavior? Does this business or investment have moats, real advantages that last beyond the hype? Second, they slow down. When everyone else speeds up, they step back. Because often, the faster the herd runs, the bigger the cliff at the end. And third, they focus on process, not excitement. They build systems. Whether it's consistent saving, disciplined research, or sticking to industries they understand. These systems protect them from emotional reactions, even when the crowd is screaming. Picture two investors. One scrolls through social media, sees everyone talking about a new coin, buys in instantly, and brags about it. The other spends evenings reading annual reports, learning about businesses, and waiting for prices to come to him. In the short term, the first one might look more successful, posting screenshots of quick gains, but in the long run, the second one builds wealth quietly, without noise, without panic, without drama. Guess which one ends up rich? The deeper truth is this: wealth is rarely built in the spotlight. It's built in silence, in patience, in waiting while others rush. It's about creating a relationship with time, not trends, because time compounds while trends collapse. And here's where you can start shifting your own mindset. Next time you feel the pull of a trend, pause and ask, am I making this move because I understand the value or because I fear being left out? If it's fear, step back. If it's understanding, move forward, but slowly, deliberately, with conviction. This is the skill that separates those who only look wealthy on social media from those who quietly build wealth in reality. It's not glamorous, it won't make headlines, but it will buy you freedom. So as we move into the next part, I want to show you how you can apply this philosophy in your own life, not just in investing, but in career choices, personal growth, and even the way you spend your time. Because chasing trends doesn't only happen with money. It happens every day in the way we live. Stay with me.
Now, let's bring this lesson closer to your own life. Because chasing trends is not just about money or investments. It shows up in careers, habits, even identity. And the rich, or more precisely, the wise, avoid it in every area. Think about careers. One decade, everyone says, study law, you'll be secure. Then it's finance is the path, become an investment banker. Later, tech is the future, learn coding. And now, AI is everything, jump in before you're left behind. If you chase each wave, you end up like a surfer, constantly paddling, but never catching the right wave long enough to ride it. Your energy gets drained, your skills become shallow, and you never master one thing deeply enough to be irreplaceable. But those who succeed long-term don't ask, what's hot right now? They ask, what am I willing to spend decades mastering? Where can I create unique value that survives when the hype fades? It's the difference between building skills as if they were fashion accessories versus building them like an oak tree. Slow, steady, rooted. That oak tree doesn't sway with every gust of wind, but over time, it towers over everything else. The same principle applies to personal growth. Today it's meditation. Tomorrow it's cold plunges. Next week it's journaling. Then it's biohacking. These tools can all be useful, but chasing each one because it's trendy doesn't create transformation. What creates transformation is picking a practice, sticking with it, and letting the compounding effect reshape you. A 5-minute meditation every single morning for 10 years will change your brain more than chasing 10 different wellness fads for 10 weeks. The rich, in spirit and in money, understand this truth. Compounding beats novelty. Even in how you spend time, trends try to seduce you. Social media platforms rise and fall. One year it's Facebook, then Instagram, then TikTok, then something else. People rush to be first, to be seen, to catch the buzz. But ask yourself, does chasing every platform actually build deep relationships, or does it scatter your attention? The wealthy don't spread themselves thin across every stage. They choose the arenas that matter, and they show up consistently there. It's focus, not frenzy, that creates enduring presence. Here's the irony. When you stop chasing, you begin attracting. Because you're not desperate, not restless, not constantly hopping from one thing to another, you build depth. And depth has gravity. Opportunities, people, wealth, they're drawn to the steady, not the scattered. Think about an investor like Charlie Munger. He often said, "The big money is not in the buying or the selling, but in the waiting." That waiting is not passive. It's discipline. It's knowing when not to move. And in life, the same rule applies. The biggest rewards often come not from chasing what's shiny, but from sitting with what's steady, even when it looks boring. But let's be honest, avoiding trends takes courage. It means you will sometimes feel behind. You'll hear friends brag about their quick wins, their new ventures, their viral posts, and you'll have nothing flashy to show in that moment. You'll look slow. But wealth, in every sense of the word, is not about looking fast. It's about lasting long. And the rich know that the scoreboard at the end of the game matters more than the applause in the middle. So what can you do starting today? First, build your own compass. Decide what industries, skills, or values you want to align with for decades, not months. This compass helps you filter noise. Second, train your patience. Remember that every once-in-a-lifetime opportunity shows up more often than you think. The world never stops producing trends, but value is always there for those who wait. And third, choose depth over breadth. Go deep in one skill, one domain, one philosophy, and let that depth carry you through changing fashions. Let me give you a simple metaphor. Imagine a person planting seeds in every patch of soil they see, running around the field without ever watering or tending them. They're busy, frantic, always moving, but nothing grows tall. Now imagine another person planting fewer seeds, choosing carefully, watering them daily, and waiting. At first, their field looks emptier, but over years, it becomes a forest. That's the difference between chasing and building. And that's why the rich don't chase trends. Because they don't need to. They know that time, patience, and discipline are more powerful than hype. They understand that chasing trends is like chasing shadows, always moving, never solid. But building patiently is like working with sunlight. It may rise slowly, but it's certain, and it brings life. So as you walk away from this episode, I want you to ask yourself, where in your life are you chasing trends? Is it in money, in career, in habits, in relationships? And how would your life look different if, instead of chasing, you built foundations that last? The long game is not about speed. It's about endurance. And wealth, true wealth, is not measured by how quickly you can catch up to the crowd, but how calmly you can stand apart from it. This has been The Long Game, and I'm Nathan. Thank you for listening, and remember, fireworks may light the sky, but it's the foundation that holds the house. Choose wisely.